Hello there and welcome to another episode of Practical Wisdom. I'm your host Ihab Hamalmi, the founder of The Art of Being You, the ebook of The Art of Being You. And today I want to talk about what I consider a very important subject, the stages of development in your journey. So if you're embarking in a journey of self-growth, self-actualization, and just becoming the highest possible expression of yourself, understanding those stages will give you more grounded understanding of where you are, more of a big picture of where you are and what's possible for you. Now, before diving deep into it, let me tell you, those stages are not something I read somewhere. It's not like a theory that I'm just sharing. It's more of my own realization, my own understanding for life. And I've been noticing those stages lately. And because I came back from a 10-day silent retreat, it just became more and more clear to me that we as a human go through those three stages. Now, definitely not everyone has to go through those three stages, but if you're really embarking in an honest self-growth journey, and I bet you are, and you want to reach the highest possible level, what's the highest possible expression of yourself, you certainly will go through those three stages. Now, the first stage is what I call the victim stage. Now, we're all familiar with that. Probably you've been through it. Personally, I've lived there almost all my life. The first 24 years of my life, I was in that kind of victim mindset, victim stage. And you know what? It's so easy to detect someone who's living into that victim mindset because their wording is always referring that life is happening to me. I tried things but it don't work out. People are treating me bad. I'm kind but people are stepping over me. You know what? I've been through that. So I know exactly how it feels. I know how disempowering that state could be. And unfortunately, most of people, they live their life like that. Why? Because that's the way we've been raised. We've been raised to think that life is happening to you. We've never been raised to understand and to step into our own power. We've never been raised to realize that we have power that goes beyond our mental understanding. So we usually settle into that state. Now, for a lot of people, if they're not fortunate enough to be introduced to such a material, they spend their life in that victim mindset. And they think this is how life should be. I should accept that. But it's not the kind of spiritual acceptance that comes from power. It's kind of disempowering acceptance, like kind of settling for where you are, settling for an abusive relationship, settling for being in a business that you don't like, settling for being in a manager he's always disrespecting you. And you usually, in that victim mindset, you don't think that there's a way out of it. You think that's how life should be, that's what life should offer, because that's the examples you see around you. And especially for someone like me in the Middle East, because I was born and raised in the Middle East, it's more like of the dominant mindset to be a victim. It's more of dominant mindset to be disempowered. Now, if you're lucky enough to be introduced to self-growth, and that's where you start to step out of the victim mindset and step into what I called the empowering zone. Now that's where you start sifting more into self-growth material about the mindset of success, richness, leadership, high performance, and so on and so forth. Now, in that state or in that zone, there is like a huge spectrum in that zone. I'm sorry about that. There is like a huge spectrum in that zone. And usually you start going from just studying success or the mindset of success into more of high performance, as we said, leadership, and then you go more into purpose. What's my purpose? What's my passion? What kind of creative expression I can bring to the world? How can I contribute? And that's where you start feeling you're more empowered. That's where you start understanding that your mindset can create your life. Actually, everything you're experiencing right now is literally a mirror for your inner state. And in that place where you start to understand that your state constitutes your reality, so what you're experiencing out is no more than a mirror for what's going inside. And in that place, you start becoming more empowered to realize that, I don't need to change what outside in order for it to change. I need to go inside and change myself, because life is no more than a reflection of what's happening inside. In that place, you start becoming more enthusiastic to study everything has to do about self-growth, because you want just to know more about how the mind functions, you want to know more about leadership, you want to know more about how to be productive, how to reach the highest level of performance, you want to know how to align your business more with your ambition, more with your purpose. You start getting into the game of life. You start becoming really more empowered person. You stop seeking an external help to come, not in a way that you reject help, but you start become less dependent on people or on the next election for the parliament, so one can come and change your life. You start own your reality. You start becoming a powerful creator for your reality. Now that's a beautiful place to be in, but, and there's a huge but, you could spend your life there, and you could stuck there, and you could think that this is what life has to offer. Now I see a lot of people in self-growth, they get stuck into that area and they don't evolve beyond the mental and emotional development. Now if you're lucky enough again, or I would say if you're wise enough, if life is graceful enough for you to evolve you to the next level, that's where you start stepping into the zone of surrendering. That's where you start experiencing a love for truth. That's where you start all your life is all about how to live for the truth, how to access more of the truth. Now, let me explain what life is like for people in that area. In that area, you stop seeking to grow the self. Because in the first two areas, the victim and empowering, it's all about the self. The self was victim and the self became more empowered. In that area, you start seeking transcendence. You start seeking to transcend the self, to tap into an infinite possibility, to tap into the infinite nature of who you are. That's where you want to let go the idea of the self, because you understood that what you call me or the self is no more than a psychological idea, a psychological identity that you mistaken to be yourself. So if you ask anyone in the street who you are, they probably will tell you their name or me, my body. They will refer to their body. But at that stage, you become in tune enough to understand that you are bigger than your physical reality. You're bigger than your body. Who you really are is pure consciousness, and it's not personal. It's not personal. That's when you start experiencing life from more unity consciousness. Now, have I gone too far? See, my idea is not to create some complex words. My idea is just to help you understand that there is a stage behind growing the self. It's a stage of complete surrendering to your true nature. And that's where you start becoming a student for enlightenment and what's called non-duality and self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is no more than inquiring about the self. Now, interestingly, this stage, it expresses itself through beautiful production, selfless production. So when you look to a musician who is in that state of flow, they don't say, I create the music. They say the music is created through me. There is less sense of the doer because they transcended the sense of the self, and there is more like doing. Life is creating through you. So it's not you are the creator, life is creating through you. More like a flower. Look at the flower. The flower don't think it's something in order to become its highest possible expression, which is flower. The flower surrendered to life. So it became life, and it grew into its unique expression of life. So there is no more anymore. It's like thinking who you should be or who you should act. Complete surrender to life. And that's where you start to awaken more to the truth. Now, I didn't reach a point that I'm fully awakened or enlightened, but still I am into that path. But after the retreat, I realized that, oh, that's what we really want. That's what all the spiritual teaching were referring to. That's what all the spiritual leaders and religious leaders were pointing to. They were pointing to people, tell them that you are not what you think you are. And they were trying to bring teaching and pointers to help them surrender to the purpose, to their purpose. So it's not they have a purpose, because there's still an identity. It's not my purpose. They surrender to their purpose. They surrender to their destiny. And eventually, and that's the highest level, they surrender themselves, the ego, to life. And that's where they experience happiness and peace that transcends all human understanding, because they transcended their personal nature to more infinite nature. Now again, I don't want you to be lost in the words, but what I want you to realize, that just to start reflecting where you are and to see what's possible for your evolution. Now again, at practical level, at the third stage, there is no doer anymore. So life is doing through you. And let me read you a paragraph from Ramana Maharshi, a sage from India, very respected sage in India. I think he passed away in the 1950s, about the idea of the doer. So you'll have a better understanding for what I mean. Ramana Maharshi, by the way, he was one of the modern creators of the idea of self-inquiry. It was there before, like long time, but he was one of the modern creators of that. So let me read that paragraph for you. If we are the doers of actions, we would also be enjoyers of the fruits thereof. On knowing the self through inquiry as to who the doer is, doership is lost, and the triple karma falls away. This is alone the state of eternal liberation. So what he's referring to at this state, there is no doer anymore, because the ego dissolved, and life is just doing through you without taking significance of that doing, by referring it to your identity. Now, even Jim Collin, the writer of The Good to Great, he said the highest level of leadership, level 5 of leadership, he said that's where leaders, they experience what he called humility or humbleness. Now, it's not the kind of humbleness we experience mentally, like being weak. No, it's the kind of humbleness where your identity dissolves and the message will become the main thing. So if you look to someone like Gandhi, Gandhi probably didn't influence people because he thought he's a great speaker. No, he surrendered to a message, and he was more like a tool for that message to express itself through him. And that's what true power is. That's the shift from force to power. Force, where you send an army to conquer a country. Power, where you surrender to the source of power to express itself through you. And that's why Gandhi was able to free a whole country without using one bullet. That's the power of the universe. That's the power of love, when you connect and you harness that power for your favor. But you need to transcend your ego to reach there. So, if you like this video, and I hope you did, please press on the like button, and please leave in the comment below. I love to hear your opinion about those stages and where you are, and what's your ambition, what do you want to reach. Till I see you next time, have a great day, and thank you. Hey guys, it's Ihab. If you like this video and you enjoy this kind of material, there are two things you can do right now. First, to subscribe to the YouTube channel here, and also to visit ihabhamam.com to sign up for the newsletter there. So you can keep yourself updated with the free material about the soul of speaking, leadership, high performance, and just life mastery in general. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Till then, just go and have a great day. Thank you.